Hi there. Now we're going to be doing lesson 53. Today we will review the following. Lesson 11. My meaningless thoughts are showing me a meaningless world. Since the thoughts of which I am aware do not mean anything, ego thoughts, the world that pictures them can have no meaning. So what I'm seeing out here, based on my thoughts, there goes a mean person, there goes a pretty person, there goes a tall person, there goes a cheating person, there goes a liar, there goes a fat person, a skinny person. When we put that meaning on anything, the world that we see has no meaning. Sentence number 3. What is producing this world is insane, and so is what it produces. So we are insane in our mind, producing an insane world out there. Reality is not insane. God's reality is not insane. Capital R reality. And I have real thoughts as well as insane ones. Ta-da! I have real thoughts as well as insane ones. I have ego thoughts and I have God thoughts. I have fear thoughts and love thoughts. I have truth and illusion in my mind. I can therefore see a real world if I look to my real thoughts as my guide to seeing. What does this mean? If I have to make the choice to see the world as God sees it, as God created it, as God intended it to be, because when I see it with God, I will see the world that has meaning. But I need to choose between which thought system I am going to perceive the world, which means what filter am I using? What sunglasses am I putting on to see the world? Am I going to see it clearly through the eyes of love, or am I going to see it darkly through the eyes of the ego? Am I going to see what is true, or am I going to create an illusion and overlay it on what is happening? Just as Ken saw me as a potential cheating, unfaithful wife, that never happened, never did. He saw that because he believed that that was so. But it wasn't God's reality, because I was not a cheating partner. Sentence number, so this is a review of lesson 12. I am upset because I see a meaningless world. Key here, I am upset because I see a meaningless world. Insane thoughts are upsetting. Ken was suffering thinking that he should be jealous. Ken was suffering thinking I was cheating. He created for himself a lot of suffering. So insane thoughts are upsetting. They produce a world in which there is no order anywhere. He was suffering so much. His world was collapsing. His marriage was breaking down. Why? Because that thought had so much power. And he believed it. He believed an insane thought. Of course he was upset. Now at the time, I was trying to defend myself, adding to the chaos, because I had not gotten A Course in Miracles. I had not realized that I could be I could be defenseless. But anyways, of course it was upsetting for him. And now I've got so much compassion for anybody who's jealous, and anybody who is upset and thinking with past thoughts, because they're creating a lot of fear for themselves. Sentence 4, only chaos rules a world that represents chaotic thinking, and chaos has no laws. We couldn't connect when he was scared of me, no matter what I tried. If I prepared a beautiful meal, or if I was kind and nice, or I said, can I hold your hand? There was, he would pull back. His mind was thinking, what is she trying to make up for? So I had no chance to win, because no matter what I did in a chaotic mind, it was all an attack. I cannot live in peace in such a world. When I began to read these lessons, I went, wow, that man is suffering so much, because he's believing thoughts that are not true. My compassion began to grow tremendously for him. Sentence number 6, I am grateful that this world is not real, and that I need not see it at all unless I choose to value it. But he didn't know what I knew. He didn't have the awareness that I had. And I didn't even have the awareness of A Course in Miracles. So can you imagine all of the suffering that he had, and then the suffering that I had? And then Course in Miracles came in to give me the clarity that I needed, so that I could stop defending myself, so that in that space I could begin to see him as the presence of love. So instead of two people with two stories, one that I'm cheating and one that I'm not, I could just let things be what they are. He was having insane thoughts, covering up a beautiful, amazing, magnificent being that he is. He is, always has been. And my releasing him to be as God created him returned me to my peace. And at least from my perspective, light is being poured onto the planet, where from his perspective, he can't see that light yet. But I can. So I see it for both of us. Sentence 7. And I do not choose to value what is totally insane and has no meaning. That's what happened to me. I didn't want to value his insanity because it was meaningless. It was something made up in his mind. And a lot of people share that thought. So, it's just the way that it is. So we're going to review now lesson 13. A meaningless world engenders fear. The totally insane engenders fear because it is completely undependable and offers no grounds for trust. Of course he couldn't trust me because he was believing something that was undependable and it was totally insane, had no grounds for trusting. Nothing in madness is dependable. When we're insane, we cannot depend on those thoughts to give us the true picture of what is God's reality. It holds out no safety and no hope. Of course he couldn't feel safe. He was in the same bed with somebody who could hurt him in his mind. He was in the same house with somebody who could hurt him. He was traveling with somebody who could cheat at him at any turn. Can you imagine how much turmoil and chaos this sweet man had in his mind? All the while I'm right there next to him, wanting to be close to him. Crazy. No hope. There was no hope. No safety. But such a world is not real. I have given it the illusion of reality and have suffered from my belief in it. Yeah, he suffered. He's still suffering from that. We both suffered from believing what wasn't true. Now I choose to withdraw this belief and place my trust in reality. I chose to withdraw my belief in that I needed to defend myself, to withdraw my belief that I needed to prove myself. God created me already, perfect, whole. I knew my sincerity. I knew my transparency. I knew my loyalty. I didn't have to prove it. And when I withdrew my belief in proving myself, then I placed my trust in reality. And I said, God, it'll be what it'll be. It's just going to have to be whatever it is. These are egos playing out roles. And if this is what I need to do for my growth, and this is what he needs to do for his growth, then I trust that in God's ultimate reality, everything is being used for the greater good of all. In choosing this, I will escape all the effects of the world of fear. I did, because I am acknowledging that it does not exist. Ken's fears were not my fears. They were not real to me. My needing to defend myself out of fear that he wouldn't see the real me, I had to let that go. Those fears were not real. My reality is I know who I am because I am what God created and I hear the voice of God speaking to me. So it was okay. You just let it go. You move on. So this is a review of lesson 14. God did not create a meaningless world. How can a meaningless world exist if God did not create it? He is the source of all meaning, and everything that is real is in his mind. It is in my mind too, because he created it with me. Knowing that I'm in the mind of God, I'm inside of pure consciousness, and I choose to see everything with the eyes of God, then everything is innocent, either pretending to think with the ego or being the presence of innocence that it really is. Ken is innocent. The essence, the soul, the being that is Ken, created as God created him, is absolutely innocent. How can I judge that? That perfection that God created, we both exist in God's mind. We are being imagined by God. So in my mind, I wanted to imagine Ken through the eyes of love, through the eyes of innocence. So I freed Ken to be who Ken is. And we appear to be in this world. We're in different levels, in different planes. Our paths really don't cross. They may never cross again because we are just seeing things differently. So he's going to have to see and cluster up with things that he sees the way his ego sees them. And I will cluster up with things that I see the way God sees them. It's okay. There's no need to judge because we're all moving through different levels of consciousness. It is my mind too because he created it with me. God created my mind with me. Why should I continue to suffer from the effects of my own insane thoughts when the perfection of creation is my home? I'm inside the mind of God, safe. I'm not going anywhere. That's why I'm eternal. God just imagines me in this lifetime as Laina. In the next lifetime, I may be Bob. In the next lifetime, I may be Sally. And another lifetime, I may be Peter. It doesn't matter what lifetime I'm experiencing because all lifetimes are safely inside the mind of God. So I know I'm at home. That's why I can see the innocence because we're just playing roles with beliefs that we're picking up in that lifetime. Let me remember the power of my decision and recognize where I really abide. My decision is to see everything as it is according to God's reality. And God says, I am safe in its mind. God has given everything the meaning of love, and I either accept that and be peaceful about it, or I resist it and reject it and make up my own ideas about it, and I will suffer and be insane. I know what I've chosen. Review for lesson 15. My thoughts are images that I have made. Whatever I see reflects my thoughts. Am I going to see innocence or am I going to see vengeance? It is my thoughts that tell me where I am and what I am. Where am I? With thoughts of innocence, I am in God's mind. I'm in the kingdom of heaven. And what am I? Somebody who sees with God's mind. If I'm going to be in judgment and I'm going to be in condemnation, where am I? I'm in hell. And what am I? Somebody who's mistaken, somebody who's in chaos and completely unaware of truth. That's going to create suffering. I'm scared because I'm covered up in darkness. I'm in the dark, in the middle of the kingdom of heaven. The fact that I see a world in which there is suffering and loss and death shows me that I am seeing only the representation of my insane thoughts, and I am not allowing my real thoughts to cast their beneficent light on what I see. So if you're seeing the things that you don't like, and you're seeing murders and rapes and death and loss of jobs and things like that, if you want to wake up, you have to acknowledge that there is another way of looking at life. It doesn't mean that those things are okay that are being done. It just means that you got to bring a consciousness of love to have those things shift. Everybody who's operating at those lower levels of consciousness are suffering. They don't need our condemnation. They need our cooperation. They need our compassion. They need to be called into the light. They don't need to be judged because they're in the darkness. Me telling Ken he was doing something wrong, which I did in the beginning, and I was suffering. Me waking up, coming to the place of clearing my mind, thinking with God, and then seeing that my beloved was suffering allowed me to have compassion. He didn't change what he was doing, not at all. But I changed. And that created a space where now in his mind he has his own ideas of me cheating on him, but he also has evidence that I did not. He gets to pick between the two. But I shone the light of truth. Somewhere in that mind, that truth is there. If he chooses to use it, maybe with his next partner, he will be maybe not so quick to be jealous. He might remember, I was jealous all that time of Laina, she didn't cheat on me. Well, maybe with his new partner, he will give her the benefit of the doubt. What if I planted the seed that allows him to shift his thinking in the next relationship? What if the person who committed an atrocious act, if we plant the seed that maybe that wasn't a good idea. Maybe that came from a place in them that is suffering. What if we help them heal? And then they have a temptation to kill somebody and all of a sudden remember, wait a second, if I hurt them, I'm only hurting myself. What if we rehabilitate people into remembering the truth? That's the opportunity here. Let me read this again. The fact that I see a world in which there is suffering and loss and death shows me that I am seeing only the representation of my insane thoughts, and I'm not allowing my real thoughts to cast their beneficent light on what I see. I'm not letting the light of God be cast on what I'm seeing so that I can see it as a call for love. Sentence number 5, yet God's way is sure. The images I have made cannot prevail against him because it is not my will that they do so. It's not my will that they do so. My will is his, God's will, and I will place no other gods before him. So, when I placed Ken as a god before God, no wonder I was suffering. But when I decided to make God, which is love, the thing that I saw, the thing that I was committed to being the presence of, it changed everything. So I had to make that choice. The images I have made cannot prevail against God. So we have to recognize that we have the power in us to make images. Are we making images that represent the truth of God, or are we making images that cover up the truth of God? It is our power, and owning that power is crucial. So this is a completion of our review, which is called Lesson 53. Thanks a bunch, and I'll see you in the next lesson.